Welcome to Imperfect Momming. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Imperfect Momming. And if you're normally watching live in the Facebook, you're noticing that this is not live in the Facebook at the moment. And we're having some Facebook Live technical difficulties at the moment. So when we are back, you'll know. But for now, we will be still having our support on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And we'll have our lesson pre-recorded if that's what the universe requires.
Yes, we will be flexible and and roll with what happens. Excuse me. Hi, everybody.
So we promised that we were going to talk about person versus performance this week in this recording. So we started our 5-week course on Thursday this week. And we had a really interesting conversation that revolved around person versus performance.
So what was really fascinating was, we want to be very intentional about our parenting, right? And we're not always going to get it right or perfect. And I'm not even sure at this point in my life if I even believe there is necessarily a right way to do it. For me, it's really what's aligned for us, what feels aligned for us. But understanding where we're coming from is critical to know what we're in alignment with, what we want, understanding our values. And so one of the things that we explored with the the moms that were in our group this week was, what was it like in our childhoods from the perspective of something that we were told we did well or that was good in our lives, and how that impacted us. And it was actually fascinating, right? Like to hear what everybody had to say.
Yeah, we all did it, because when we're in our course, we're we don't ask anyone to do anything that we're not willing to do ourselves. And so I know that one thing that I was really praised for was the things that I did. And so in order to feel like I'm doing good, I had to do things. So that's, I'm somebody that doesn't ever just sit in silence. I'm always doing something. And it's connected to, if I'm not doing, then I'm not good. And we all want to be a good person.
And so we spoke about, and just using Alicia's example, so as not to, extend, because really it's the same for all of us. And so, but using Alicia's example, when I say it's the same for all of us, the details are different, but the impact is the same. In terms of what ends up happening is we get that external response, and then we end up truly internalizing it. So our performance becomes something that is commented on, or in this case, what Alicia's talking about, it becomes valued. Alicia then internalized that doing is the way that she needs to be in order to be valued. She started to have that belief herself, to the point, and if it's okay that I share this, that she became uncomfortable with doing things like meditation or journaling. It's okay that I shared that, right? Because it's your, but I know, okay. And so, and so what's the downside of that? Like, so what's the big deal, right? Like, so what? So she internalized that, and now it's all about doing, and she didn't. And part of, I don't want to speak for you. So what did you lose, or what do you feel like you lost by not then learning that practice, and what have you gained by this insight that you now are starting to do more meditation and more journaling, for example?
Well, it was very uncomfortable to be, alone with my thoughts. And we had this discussion the other day because we have, 80,000 thoughts in a day. And whether we're alone or not, the thoughts are happening. But what I was doing was making it so that I was not aware of any of my thoughts because I was afraid of them, because, it just was, it was uncomfortable. And when I recognized that and did some healing around it, now I'm able to meditate and I'm able to journal, and I get insights into myself and I can understand myself better. Um, and I think that ultimately, number one, it makes me a better parent, but also now my son sees me journaling, and he sees me taking time for myself, and he sees me taking care of myself, and not needing to perform in order to be good. So I become that example that I want him to find valuable.
Right. I love that, Alicia. And so basically also what you're saying, um, well, I shouldn't say what you're saying, what I've heard and my understanding is based on what you're saying, as well as what you and I have discussed, is then our thoughts, it's like you didn't want to be aware of, like you were afraid to look at them. So then what ends up happening is our thoughts run us. Like we aren't in control of how we then want to run our lives or how we're thinking. But when we are able to separate them and separate ourselves from just that programming, because our thoughts oftentimes are just that programming that got programmed at such an early age. And when we become aware of and like truly start to understand that programming, we then get back into the driver's seat and we can then make decisions about, well, do we want to go through the rest of our lives just doing, doing? Or do we want to become human beings and not just human doings? And what does that mean? And in terms of, just some of the other things that came out of even just the discussion that we were having with our moms, like other things that come up from this. So, we sometimes will get into that perfectionistic loop of wanting to be a perfectionist, or we feel like we always need to be performing or having our masks on, or I mean, just on and on, in ways that even things that we do to escape from what it is that we've internalized or procrastinating because we're afraid of doing, because if we don't get perfect, because that's what we were valued for. So yeah, I mean, it's really deep, it's really profound, and it's really something to start to become aware of. Like, what are we valued for? Are we valued for our performance, or just who we are as people? And then how is it we then are going to bring that forward into the next generation? How do we then intentionally raise our kids in a way to pass along the messages and the values that we want to pass along?
Absolutely. So next week we're going to talk about staying in the present. Um, and and I believe that this is really connected to that, as journaling and meditating and is being in the present, but also recognizing when something that is happening in this moment is actually we're reacting to it because of what's happened in previous moments of our life. And so how staying in the present can really help us be better parents.
So I just want to say, for those of you that are watching, for those of you that aren't watching, as we're sitting here, we're sitting in front of a window, and the world is turning literally as we're sitting here, and as the world is turning, the sun is we're not moving, right? But the way that our faces are lighting up, and it's almost like metaphorically, like physically, the light is coming in, but metaphorically, the light is coming in as well on this subject, on ourselves. And that is truly what it is. Wow, this light is getting really bright, but it's shining. For those of you that can see, you see what I'm talking about. For those of you that can't, maybe you want to go watch the video to see what I'm talking about. But it's like taking a flashlight on ourselves when we do this, and really, and really lighting up what's there. So anyway, I just think it's really funny that we're having this physical, the world, as you were saying about what how the universe wants us to be teaching these lessons. Maybe that's why we were having the technical glitches, so that we could actually have the physical support what we're saying. Yeah. Whoa, I'm so bright you can barely see me now.
All right, so we'll have another episode for you all coming next week, and until we meet again, keep healing.
Keep healing.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Momming. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit alysialyons.com. That's ALYSIALYONS.com. See you next time.